Hello dudes, welcome back to my channel Code Kernel, the place where data meets clarity. So today I am here with another fascinating topic, that is the differences between a traditional database and the big data. So without any delay, let's get started. Yeah, first let me recall what actually the database is. The database is an organized collection of data. That means the data is represented in a structural format. This would be the example of a database which represents the student details such as student ID, course ID, grade, and the percentage he or she obtained. The database is stored and managed electronically. It can also be accessed and modified by using the SQL queries. It's time to discuss about the traditional database. A traditional database is a type of database that deals with the structured data, and it is also organized collection of data stored and accessed electronically from a central system. It is also recognized as a relational model as it works based upon the RDBMS, that is a relational database management system, which deals with the rows and columns of a table. It also works based on the ACID properties such as atomicity, consistency, isolation, and the durability. The examples of a traditional database which are also recognized as a tools for handling the traditional databases are MySQL, Oracle database, and the SQL Server. And the traditional database is associated with the several key features such as it handles only the structured data, it maintains the fixed schema, it is a centralized storage system and uses SQL queries for accessing and modifying, and it provides only the limited scalability. Now coming to the big data. Big data is a collection of large, fast-growing and diverse datasets that require advanced tools and technologies for storage, processing and analysis. That means big data deals with the large datasets which cannot be done by the traditional database. And it uses the Hadoop distributed file system for storing the data, which is shortly called as HDFS. And the main point to remember is that the big data deals with the structured, semi-structured and the unstructured data. The examples which are the data sources for collecting the big data are by using the social media posts, and by using the sensors we can collect the data, and online transaction logs, and even the video streaming data is also a big data. There are several tools available for handling the big data such as for handling the NoSQL databases we have a MongoDB, Cassandra, Redis, Habi and Neo4j, and for handling the data storage we use HDFS and Amazon 3, and for data processing we use a Spark, and for data streaming we use a From, and there are several query tools available for us such as Hive and Pig. Yeah, now it's time to discuss about the differences between a traditional database and the big data. The traditional database volume is in the range of megabytes to terabytes, whereas the big data range is from terabytes to petabytes, even the EB also. And as I said before, the traditional database deals with the structured data only, and the big data deals with the structured, semi-structured and unstructured also. And there are limited sources available for collecting a traditional database, whereas multiple sources available for big data. And the traditional database follows the fixed schema, whereas the big data follows the flexible schema. And the processing speed of a traditional database is moderate. That means it is not fast and it is not slow, it maintains a medium level of processing. And whereas the big data is a real-time processing, it works upon the real-time applications. And the scalability is vertical for traditional databases, whereas a horizontal for big data. And the architecture of a traditional database is centralized, whereas for big data it is a distributed system. The cost of a traditional database is expensive, whereas for the big data is cost effective when compared to the traditional database. And the traditional database works based upon the ACID properties, and whereas for big data it works based upon the base properties. The word base gives a knowledge of basically available soft state, eventually consistency. And finally, the traditional database allows a limited fault tolerance, whereas a big data allows a high fault tolerance even. The real-time applications of a traditional database and the big data are the traditional databases are used in ATM transactions and in the employee payroll systems and even in the inventory management also. Whereas the big data is used in a Netflix or a YouTube even, and it is also used in a self-driving car and healthcare for analyzing the diseases and predicting the diseases using the ML algorithms and all those. The data processing flow of a traditional data is based on a ETL pipeline, and for the big data it is ELT. That means the traditional data is extracted, transformed and then loaded. Transform means cleaning, whereas big data is extracted, loaded and transformed only if needed. The traditional data gives us a knowledge that you must know what you are looking for before you store it. And the big data gives a knowledge that it allows you to explore the data for patterns you didn't know existed. And finally, I conclude that traditional database is a type of database which is best suited for structured and medium sized data with a fixed schema and strong consistency, whereas a big data is best suited for handling the large data sets, structured, semi structured, and unstructured data even. It also provides the high scalability, flexibility, and it works with the real-time processing of the data. The quote of this session is, data is an oil. We can refine it only through a big data. This particular sentence gives a knowledge of data is compared with an oil and we can refine it. That means we can clean it only with the help of a big data. Yeah, finally, thank you for visiting my channel. And if you like my content, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you one and all. See you with the next video.